What is up, everyone? It is Mike on the mic here, and welcome to the newest episode of Friday Night Wars, the hottest sports debate show in the game today, where you decide the winner. And I am talking to open the show, so everyone knows what that means. I won last week versus Joe Morley Sports, who is not the person standing next to me, but he's filling in for him this week. Welcome to the first ever live episode of Friday Night Wars, and I am honored to be opening up the first ever live episode in history and making history. Joe said that he wasn't going to show up this week because he's been dominating, but then loses in the same week that he makes this claim. So this week, I'll be going to war with some much tougher and more aggressive competition in Tony Tucker, and I'm excited for it. The show is going to be great, and let's be real, without Joe Morley Sports, probably better. But before we hit that intro, I want to give a shout out to a few people who have been very active in our live chats and everything in the live stream. So shout out to HQ Guest, Certified Queese, PBJ, Cecilia, Phil K, and everyone who has been super active in the live streams lately. It has been making our streams quite literally. Now, let's get to that Phil Flames and RC Productions jam.
Let's get ready to rumble. Step into the war zone. 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 Friday night war zone. Friday night war zone. Hey yo, it's Phil Flames. I'm with Mike on the mic and Joe Morley. About to bring you more heat. Welcome to the war zone. You can have a floor seat. Watch them on your iPhone. Watch them on your Galaxy. It's a sports debate show. Straight up out of SoCal. Gather around the laptop. Friday nights it goes down. And we on the radio. Coming to your locale. Got into the third round. Better bring the smoke now. Step into the war zone. 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 Friday night war zone. Friday night war zone. Step into the 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 war zone. Friday night war zone. Friday night war zone.
Man, that's a beat that'll even get a tortoise's heads bobbing.
Ooh, how can you not be on fire after that? I'm
Tony
very
Tucker.
excited to be sitting in here for Joe Morley.
I'm very excited that you're sitting in here for Joe Morley. It's going to be a much better week. Viewership's going to be up. Team Mike support's going to be up. It's just going to be all up from here. No Joe Morley Sports to come here and ruin everything.
I got to get a trophy above me. I got to get a 1.
Ooh, there has been one guest appearance on Friday Night Wars before, and it was Joe Scurto, and he did win that episode.
Oh,
so you can keep that streak going of like the guest winning the episode.
Yeah, but those are pity votes. I want like real because I crushed it votes. Sorry, Scurto.
We aren't playing any games here today. Tony Tucker has been saying all week how excited he is, especially with the topic lineup we have set today. We're going to be talking about this Hawks-Bucks series and whether or not the Hawks, who are up 1-0, are going to upset the Bucks and move on to the finals there. We're going to talk about, is Devin Booker ready to be upgraded a little bit in his status in the NBA to that elite level status? Then we're going to talk about some NFL and some of our favorite storylines to track as we get into the meat of the offseason and into the regular season. I'm excited for it. Make sure you guys are smashing the like button. You see the thumb right here. Oh, you see the thumb right? Oh, you see the thumb in the right corner for me, probably left corner for you, and the subscribe on the other side. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and little notification bell next to it and smash that like. It helps us out a ton in the algorithm so we can go viral and do this on a more full-time basis. But it feels like we're doing it on a full-time basis anyways. I mean, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you. I can feel the exhaustion, feel the heat, but great things are coming. All of the grind is worth it. And yeah, Joe, I see why. I see why you love this show so much. You get a chance. You get a chance to get back at the youth of America. Can't wait.
Oh, is that what this is? This is a mission against my own generation?
Yes.
Jeez, Tony. Absolutely savage. One more plug before we go to war, and that's to check out our website, www.warzonesportsnetwork.com. You can get merch, and there's links to all of the newest episodes and blogs going on in the war zone. Tony, you ready to go to your first ever war?
Let's do it.
I'm excited to get into it. Let's go to the first ever live war. Are the Hawks going to upset the Bucks?
All right, Michael on the mic. Now, if you would have asked me a week ago, I would have said there's no chance in the world. But then I got to watch game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and what happened? Trae Young continued to be a giant killer. 48 points in the first game. And that's the thing. We love to just sort of look at the top, who's the head name on the marquee, and that's Ice Trae Young. That's fine. But these Hawks are filled with just studs, young studs all down the roster. Kevin Huerter looking like he should be an extra in Stranger Things. We got John Collins, who looks like he's going to be a beast for this team. Like, this guy's getting double-digit rebounds, and when he scores 15 points, they win. They're already playing with house money on the road. Clint Capella, now that he's got a coach and a team around him, he's going to be up for Defensive Player of the Year next year. This guy's grabbing rebounds, swatting shots, playing like a monster under the hoop. Absolutely, the Hawks can win this series. They're like, I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to, I had 5 games originally. It's going longer than that. And that's because the Bucks have issues. I'll cover the Bucks issues on my second lap. But right now, Bogey's knee, if that gets healthy, this series this series could be a wrap for the Bucks. And we could be continuing the Giannis narrative of him not being able to come through when it really matters.
Now, first of all, and by the way, guys, we don't have the clock and the buzzer. We're going to work the clock and the buzzer into the next live stream episode. For anyone that's wondering why I just started without a clock and a buzzer, I know you like getting Joe Morley cut off mid-word. That's my favorite part of the show as well. But first of all, for my argument, I want to say that this Hawks run has been absolutely awesome. It's what sports is about, and it's giving us, both them and the Suns, a little bit of sense of parity in the NBA that we're not really used to. But, and there is always a but with me, even though I successfully picked the Hawks to overthrow the 76ers, Giannis Antetokounmpo and this Bucks team is a completely different animal. In game 1, the Bucks shot less than 25% from 3 and less than 47% overall as a team from the field. And I was at the gym, throwing up more weight than anyone around me because that's just what I do. And I saw Giannis miss at least 5 easy layups throughout the night. I say all of this to make the point of the Bucks played a really, really bad game last night, one of the worst of their season. And then you go to the other side of the column and you see Trae Young dropped 48 points. You see John Collins put up 23 of his own. So in a game where the Bucks played awful and the Hawks played outstanding, the result, a 3-point Hawks victory. That's it. 3 points. If this Bucks team can even elevate in the next couple of games to play at an average to slightly above average level, they would have blown the Hawks out last night. Imagine if they even just play good. Not amazing, just good. Shoot 30% from 3. I am so confident that the Bucks will win this series. My official prediction right here, right now, live on the air of the first ever Warzone Sports Network live episode, Bucks in 5 games.
Wow, you sound like a crazy person, like me. Like, why are you taking notes from me? Let me just say this about the Bucks. You have a lot of faith in a team that has a coach who's shown that he fails to make adjustments, right? I don't know if you saw the pick and roll in that last game with Trae Young, but Drew Holiday, who's like a first all-defensive team, looked like he was going throwback roller derby, roller skate rink style. Trae was just putting him out of the picture. Bobby Portis doesn't know where to go. Brooke Lopez getting dunked on, the lesser Lopez for the Bucks. You can't have that. I'll just say this. Everybody knows how much I love Chris Middleton, but Chris Middleton cannot be coming up that small if the Bucks want to have a chance to win. And now the rest of the world would tell me, Tony, you're an idiot. You're crazy. Why do you have so much faith in Chris Middleton? But you watch the fourth quarter, Giannis hates the free throw line and Giannis can't shoot threes. So you're putting your hopes into Chris Middleton. I'm going to go put my hopes into a team that is chock filled with 3-pointers all the way around. They got guys coming in and out. Bogey, knee, no problem. Doesn't matter. Nate McMillan has this team playing better defense, rebounding, doing all of those things. So, like, if you're telling me I'm supposed to have faith in Giannis, who's never been past this point, it's not like he has some veteran experience over Trae Young. He doesn't. The Hawks are ready to go, and I'm a little shocked you weren't on this side of the argument, because they're young, they're fun, and they're full of winning is what they're full of.
And I was with them in the last round and beating the 76ers. And I go over this with Joe a lot. He does the same thing where he's like, come on, why don't you just be bold? I'm just like, Joe, I pick my spots. I choose when it comes, and then I strike. That's what I'm going to do with this here, and I'm going to go ahead and play it safe. I'm going with the Bucks because I think the Bucks are going to win. You said all those great things that the Hawks did, and like I said in the debate, they did all that great and only won by 3 points. You got to believe that the Bucks are going to shoot better than, 25% from 3 in future games. What the Hawks have been doing this entire playoffs is just staying in these games, just staying close, just holding on to a 3 to 5 point game, and at the end they get hot, and like you said, they have shooters to do it and put it away. With Giannis's attitude on the sideline, he was literally calling out his teammates saying, we're letting this guy shimmy on us. We're letting this guy step over, do a shimmy, and take threes on us, the Milwaukee Bucks, a team that's been a perennial contender for the last 5 seasons. He's motivated. He's got some passion. He's got some fire. Giannis is going to come out, and he's going to take over, and you're going to see it tonight in game 2.
You know what? I really hope for Giannis' sake that's what happens. Felke, thank you for jumping in here. You did tell me the Hawks were going to win game 1, and I didn't believe you, but I'm becoming a believer. ATL, chicken wings, T-Pain, Dos Cadenas in the house. Hawks are now going to the NBA Finals. I just, I'm sorry to the city of Atlanta, to T.I., to all the great members of the hip-hop community representing the ATL. I'm sorry that I was sleeping on you guys. I can't wait for the party to begin down there. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
It's not going to begin when the Bucks win 4 straight games and win in 5 games. Tony, you got in all your system? You ready for this next topic? Because you know what's coming.
Oh, let's get into this one.
Go ahead and hop into the comment section, guys, and vote. We'll count the live chat votes, and we'll count, because I have replay on, so I should be able to see it and count them after, right?
Yeah, I think you can click on the live chat when you
do. All right, so either live chat or go down to the official comments and vote who won that round, or save it for the end. But either way, let's move on to the next round. Is it time to elevate Devin Booker to the elite status in the NBA?
You got to be kidding me with this nonsense right here. I don't care what anybody says in the chat. The answer is absolutely no way. First of all, let's establish elite. For players or people to be elite, there has to be some sense of a bar. We can't just be putting everybody in that what it is. So let's just say, is 10% a fair number? That would be 3 players at the position, right? Like in the top 10%. So 3. Let's just say if you want to call Devin Booker a point guard, because somebody came after me and said what an elite passer he was, how great of a ball distributor he is. He could play point guard when CP3's out. Sure he can. Okay, good point. He's not the best point guard on his own damn team. We could start there if we wanted to. But if we're going from the point guard position, I'd rather have Steph. I'd rather have Dame. And forgot the last one, Luka. I'm sorry, I blanked on it. I'd rather have Luka. So he's already out in that one position. Now you say, oh, well, Tony, no, he's not really. Like, there's a positionless basketball. Maybe he's more of a shooting guard. Sure. James Harden, better. Kyrie Irving, because we both know that Kyrie and James look at each other. You want to play point? You want to play shooting guard, point, shoot. It doesn't matter because we ball. They're both better than him. And PG-13. Yes, I said it. He choked, missed a couple of free throws, but he's a better shooting guard than Mr. Devin Booker, which means he cannot be put in that elite level if you're not in the top 3 at your own position. And people will go, well, why'd you put PG? He's a choke guard. You're way off P. Have you seen Paul George play defense? Yeah. Have you seen Devin Booker play defense? It's non-existent. It doesn't matter. He's below the top 3 in either one of those tiers, which means Devin Booker cannot be put in elite category. Otherwise, we just start shoving everybody up there.
You make some good points. And look, Tony, I'll admit it. And I'll admit one thing before I go on my own rant, which is I'm sure will piss you off throughout the whole entire thing. Chris Paul is currently the heart and soul of the Phoenix Suns run. I won't argue that. His leadership is being shown even from his couch. I don't know if you saw the clip of them walking through the hallway after game one. And the first thing they wanted to do was call Chris Paul and ask him if he saw the game, which is a pretty awesome moment that these young guys are rallying around Chris Paul like this. But it just goes to show that even from his couch, his leadership is still being felt there in game one. Every great team needs that leader, needs that motivation. With all that being said, if CP3 is the engine, then Devin Booker is the gas. He is the fuel of this team. Feed Devin Booker and win games has been the formula for the Suns. Averaging 28 in the postseason, he has simply started to go off. And I understand that you're not ready to elevate him and let him take the next stepping stone. But if this playoff run isn't it, then I don't know what it is going to take, Tony. Devin Booker has been the best player in these playoffs so far. You can make a case for Ice Trae, maybe a 1A, 1B scenario, but this is the same playoffs that featured Kevin Durant, the same playoffs that featured LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard, and the list goes on. All the elite players in the NBA, and D-Book is rising and standing out during this occasion and looking all of them in the eyes and saying, I'm right here with you. Imagine if he wins a championship. Then I don't even know if we're having this debate here on Friday Night Wars. Look, the difference between the great NBA players and the elite NBA players in the league is more times than not, the elite players step to the plate and perform at the highest level when their team needs them most. Can we say that Devin Booker has done that in these playoffs? Yes. Can we ask to see more of this before we crown him? Yes, I can see that point of view also. But in my mind, why wait? He's earning his stripes right before your very eyes. Let's upgrade Devin Booker to this elite status with all those names that you mentioned in the last argument following this postseason run.
Okay, Mike, here we go.
Go ahead, Tony.
That was cute. I liked it. Here's the problem with it: is Mike doesn't have cable. He wasn't able to watch the last two games where Devin Booker shot less than 25% in both of those games. Oh well, Devin Booker got headbutted in the nose. Devin Booker had a mask on. Lots of people have had great games in a mask, and I'm telling you, his legacy, the lore of Devin Booker is going to grow if in Game 4 Devin Booker drops 50 in a mask. Everybody will be like, "You remember D Book's mask game?" Like that's what we do. We start building these things, and everybody will forget the two horrendous performances he's put together in the last two games. Like I could make an argument that Cam Payne is the reason that the team has been able to flourish without Chris Paul because nobody saw that coming, right? Devin Booker stays consistent. I'm not saying he can't go to the elite status. What I'm saying is let's pump the brakes. You got Stephen A. Smith talking about how is the next Kobe Bryant. Could the guy do some stuff on the Kobe Bryant level before we say he's the next one? Like, why aren't we saying, oh, he's passing Bradley Beal? He's passing these people that are at his position. Because you said Trae Young could be 1A. I don't know about that. Maybe Devin Booker should be 1A because every time I look up, Trae Young is doing and handling his business. Last night in the fourth quarter when the game was close, D-Book didn't make any shots. In Game 7, after having a horrible night, Trae Young stepped up and was buckets at the end of that game to put them over the top against the Sixers and get his team to the next round. Booker's got his hands full. And don't give me, I don't want to get too started on the Suns, but AD gets injured. No Jamal Murray. Now no Kawhi. I mean, I don't know, Booker. It's been a pretty nice run, my friend.
Oh, man, how the turntables. How I am now here on Friday Night Wars defending the Suns after I've spent the last 3 months going against the Suns. Literally 3 straight months. And Tony has completely flipped the script on me. Sports Dude Hines Show is giving you the edge already. Look, there's going to be the one person that's going to have to come out first and sound ridiculous in upgrading Devin Booker. And maybe Stephen A. Smith was that guy. But I agree that's a little bit of a stretch when we talk about Kobe Bryant. We're not talking about an elite player. We're not talking about a Kawhi Leonard when we're talking about Kobe Bryant. We're talking about an all-time great player. Like that's a whole another level, and he needs 4 or 5 championships to get to that level, which he's nowhere near. But currently in the NBA today, could I see Devin Booker competing next year for an MVP? Maybe. That would, to me, say that he's ready to be upgraded to an elite status.
Well, here, Mike, let me say this. Yes, he absolutely could. And this is the problem with today and when we watch sports is that we're prematurely doing everything. There are steps that we'll go back and say this was Devin Booker's arrival, his coming out party. There's no way he gets snubbed from the All-Star game next year. I don't think there's any way he gets snubbed from an All-NBA team, right? There's going to be a lot of people. LeBron James was on the All-NBA squad this year, and I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Like, I love LeBron James, and I'm a Lakers fan. He shouldn't have been on the list.
Yeah.
Guys like that will start to come back. They'll start to be second and third team, and they start to slowly drift off. And guys like D Book then surpass them. Devin Booker will be a trendy pick for MVP next season because he's young and he can fill up the bucket, and the Suns look to be even better. I'm just saying right now he's not elite, but he's trending in that direction. But there's no way you can say he's elite. He's not even the top 3 at either point guard or shooting guard.
All right, I'll ask this question, Tony, before we move on to the final round, because we're already at 21 minutes in the stream, and it's went by so fast because I've had so much fun with you on the show instead of Joe. But anyway, I'll ask you this question. I ask a lot of people this question whenever they are in the similar opinion, like in the Dak Prescott argument. I'm a big Dak Prescott fan. I'm not trying to start a Dak Prescott argument, but I ask people, like, what do you need to see from him for him to get into your good graces, for him to get into this conversation? For you personally, what do you need D-Book to do before you'll say that he's an elite player in that elite status?
I need to see sustainability, right? So the thing is like they can go on this run. They can even win a title this year. And that is great, right? Like a lot of people did the same thing to me a few years back before I got on all this stuff with John Wall. John Wall is this and that and whatever. He's in the Eastern Conference Finals. And him and Bradley Beal are taking this league over. Where's John Wall right now? Like, what is it? So that's what I'm saying. Is can you repeat your performances on a regular basis? So, hey, can he come back next year? Can he stay healthy? Can he be a top 2-3 team? That's the thing. Great players aren't great because they did it once. They're great because they remain at the top. So he can finish out this year and we can start next season saying, yeah, D-Book is in this same 3, 4, 5 spot at whatever you want to say he's at. But then I need to see it run back. If he gets knocked out in the first round next year as like a 3-6 matchup or something, and then everybody's going to – the thing is we build excuses into whatever narrative we want to play, but there's no narrative that you can really make when somebody is like sustainably – it's undeniably great for a long period of time. I want sustainability.
So you're saying we're still at least a year out. We need to see this playoffs and another playoffs before you'll even be like close to ready, unless he's just ridiculous next year.
Let's say this, if he takes over and crushes like game 6 and game 7 of the NBA finals, we can revisit this, but that's still yet to be seen. People are putting things on him that he has not done, in my opinion. A game 1 where he gets a triple double like that's an amazing performance. It's a lot different when you do it in a game 6 or a game 7. That's what Mike did. That's what Kobe did. That's what LeBron does. Those are what elite great players do. And that's all I'm saying is I want to see it. I'm not saying he's not a great player. I just don't think he's at that elite level yet.
There it is. You guys heard it here. You got any last little I hate the Suns comments before I move on to the next round?
No, I hate the Clippers too. I just want sheer agony. When they got dunked on by Ayton, I was like so happy. I was like, good, take that. And then last night when D-Book was like 5, he was shot less than 25%. I don't know. He was 5 for horrible last night. I was happy about that too. Good. Chris Paul struggled. It also makes for a better story if they don't just go Suns in 4.
Yeah, man, it's like a Lakers fan's worst nightmare as far as the Western Conference. Go Eastern Conference this year. Woohoo! Yeah, rooting for them. All right, let's move on to the next round. But first, if you haven't yet, smash that like button. Help us out a ton in the algorithm. Which NFL storyline are you watching closest for the 2021 NFL season?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now for my victory lap here. I could easily go with Sam Darnold, right? Finally out of New York, have his moment, have some weapons, have a head coach that seems to be legit and some I won't go there. I could go with my boy Lamar Jackson, who's an absolute stud and finally has wide receivers, and maybe they open up the passing game and that will be fun. But I'm not, because what do we do in sports talk, ladies and gentlemen? We talk about goats. We talk about goats. How about the coaching goat of the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick, ladies and gentlemen? Bill Belichick this year is on a seat of like, he's not going to get fired, canceled, whatever it is. Like, he's Bill Belichick. You don't fire Bill Belichick. But what I'm saying is, if the narrative with him and Tom is going to come to a full head this season. He's getting back defensive players. He spent all this money in the offseason. And here's the thing. He's only going to get one shot to really settle the score with Tom this year. How is everybody in the football universe not going to be watching? I believe it's a week 4 matchup where Tom is going back to New England, and that game is going to be ridiculously hot. So he's going to get that one shot to do it. I have a lot more on this, but I feel like I got a little long-winded. I can come back with another lap here in a second and let you know why Bill Belichick is the storyline. But Mike, go ahead. Have the floor for a second.
And before I talk about my choice, I want to give an honorable mention to the person that I just talked about in the last topic. One of my favorite players in the NFL, Dak Prescott. His return and rise to the established top 10 QB kingdom is going to be a storyline that I am eagerly watching. I feel like I'm the only person other than Cowboys fans that be out here supporting Dak the way I do, so I got to give him a shout out, but that is not the one I'm going to go with. The storyline that I'm following closest is going to have to be Matthew Stafford and his success or failure with the Los Angeles Rams this year. We forget about this trade because, yes, it does feel like forever ago with how wild this offseason has been, and this trade took place like in the first day of the offseason. But how can you not be intrigued by this? Stafford's whole career has been spent wasting away. We've all been saying it in Detroit, and we've been saying it for what? A decade? At least a decade. Always tagged with the underrated on a trash team label. And now here we are. In 2021, we find out just how good Stafford is. Gifted with a top 10 offense when you look at the weapons and the offensive line, and a top 3 defense, which is the real key here. Stafford's going to have a top 3 defense, which he has never experienced in his life. The upgrade from Goff to Matthew Stafford on paper should make this Rams team instant Super Bowl contenders, unless Stafford was slightly also a part of the problem in Detroit. Either way, something's got to give. And Tony, I know how much you appreciate a great storyline. This is one no one should be taking their eyes off of this season.
This is actually a really great pick because I'm gonna give you a little bit of credit for this one. Matt Stafford just gets absolutely just demolished in all conversations that you have about him. But the reason that it's not as strong as the Belichick one is because this will span generations before and generations after, right? This is literally 2 of the greatest people to ever do their jobs. And this season is going to tell so much of the story because, like I already said about the week 4 matchup, but let's say we get to the middle of the season. Cam's either banged up or not playing great. Does Belichick have the confidence in himself and Josh McDaniels to move and transition into Mac Jones and really expose what the future could be like in a new sort of Patriot way type system right there on the fly? That would show a lot. He also needs to at least make the playoffs this year to steal away from the little narrative of the fact that Brady could leave and run a back-to-back on the NFL at 30 years old, running on nothing but good looks and avocado. He has to do something to close that gap. Everybody says, oh, well, Belichick can coach longer. Can you coach longer if you more bad seasons that you're putting up, and this guy continued his GOAT status in another place? You can't continue to do it there. And the other thing is, it's got to eat at him that Tom can go away, open himself up, show the world this whole new wonderful Tom, and still keep winning. That he doesn't have to be a buttoned up sort of like, you know, that's football and here we go. No, Tom's out there like, yeah, I'm punking this guy and I'm getting drunk on camera and I'm doing whatever. Bill's got to be like, as a bad Bill Belichick, but you get the point.
And Bill is also old as hell. And I like to joke around that you guys are old because you almost double me up in age, but Bill almost doubles you guys up in age, which is pretty insane when you sit and think about it. He could retire any year, and I think that it would be pretty justified and pretty granted. Like, I don't think many people will be complaining, oh, Bill, you retired on us a little early here. I don't think at all that would be a problem. But my problem with this storyline being above my storyline, the Patriots are competing to try and get into a wild card. They have no chance at winning the whole thing. I like the whole Brady versus Belichick storyline, but the Buccaneers should stomp them. They should absolutely stomp them. Now, what will make that storyline even crazier is if Cam Newton starts the first 3 games and Mac Jones' first game is against Tom Brady. That would be something. That would be something interesting. And I could see Bill Belichick doing something like that if he's as petty as they say. But the Matthew Stafford storyline, we're talking about possibly the Rams winning the Super Bowl this year. If he can play at the level that we suspect him to be at, but we really haven't been able to see the full potential because he's been trapped in Detroit. So that's the difference here for me. This Rams thing is going to establish the course of the entire season across the entire league. That Bill Belichick storyline is all for a week 4. Is it a primetime? I don't know if it's a primetime, non-primetime game matchup.
No, that's not the reason. It's not that matchup itself. It's the totality of their careers, the fate at which they're heading. And you just said real quick, you just said that they're fighting for a wild card spot. I talked about sustainability in the last topic. You think the Bills, just because they have Josh Allen, can come back? 48 months ago, we were wondering if this guy could even complete a pass. He gets Stephon Diggs, and now everybody's talking about how he's Jim freaking Kelly. That's not the case. Who's he have to go through? The Dolphins? Oh, no, Tua. They're so good. The Miami Dolphins are terrifying me. Like, he has a legit shot, and there's Jets. We don't need to go there, but he has a legit shot to win the division. Like, it's not like the Bills have been doing this for years, or that they have some great defense that he can't overcome, that he can't win his division. Bill needs to flex his greatness. That's what I'm saying. He can't stack up bad seasons while Brady's stacking up chips. That's the thing. It's the whole season. I'm just saying we get to see it as a main event, and Bill can score one blow if he can make Tom look bad in Foxborough. But it's the totality of the storyline I'm interested in.
I am on the Patriots improving substantially just as much as you are. And I will be a person that's going to preach Patriots getting the wild card and competing to get into the playoffs. And being a team late in the season, if there's any injuries or anyone's just kind of trailing out at the end of the year, that's the kind of team that could surprise some teams in the playoffs just because Bill Belichick and McDaniels has so much experience with it. But when you actually sit and look at it, like, how much wins did they improve by? 2, 3? So they're going to go from a 7-win team to a 10-win team. You think 10 wins is not going to even compete for the division. You're going to need 14 wins to win that division. The Bills are going to win 13 or 14 games.
Yeah, no, these are all the prognostications that we go with, right? Because they looked so grand the year before. What I'm saying is, do they have the ability to do it back to back to back years? Is Josh Allen that guy that's the same as Patrick Mahomes or whatever? I do believe that he is, and that he's good and he'll be fine. I'm just saying, I'm not putting it past Bill Belichick to be able to win this division, because he's done it for so long, and flex his greatness. That's what I want to see. Don't turn me into a Patriots fan. I'm not cheering for it.
You don't want to see the Patriots do well.
Yeah, I'm just saying what I am interested to see is if Bill can really do something that most people think is not going to happen, right? Like, it's more likely that Matt Stafford goes to a team that was in the playoffs last year, that won a road playoff game and has success. People are not as fond of the idea of Belichick winning without Tom Brady, with Cam Newton or a rookie in a division that people are already crowning the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you to an extent. You like all the options that I went with here at the bottom. I was trying to bet which one you're going to pick. So I was like, I'll throw the Bill Belichick one in there. That's interesting. I threw the Julio Jones one in there. Maybe pick that one. That's kind of a hot topic. You see Baker over here. That was my wild card choice, the Browns and how good they've gotten this offseason. And, of course, good old Aaron Rodgers and your former favorite team, the Green Bay Packers. I tried to take my stab at it, and I landed it.
Baker was my backup, right? Yeah, it was there. And I was like, but this is just me going in and like really trying to wheel and deal something. And then I came up with the goat thing. I started writing on the fly in my head, and there it's all there. All of this has like been scripted in between, cleaning, running errands, and doing all of that. So I feel good. I feel good about my first performance.
Now
I'm
I wish that I would have rolled out with some kind of Bill Belichick or Tom Brady theme storyline, so that way that I could have heard the Baker Mayfield love. I know that everyone in here is probably against Baker Mayfield, so that would have just given me an easy vote. So thanks for not doing that, Tony. I appreciate you. Anyways, 35 minutes. That's pretty good timing. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Tony, any last farewells, plugs?
No, but however you do, vote for this. Go and just vote for me. Not because it's a pity thing, but because I am smarter than Mike. I proved it here once again. You know what? Smarter's the wrong thing, because that's probably not the case. I'm sure Mike's much smarter than I am. I'll just go with better debater.
Now we're talking trash to me. Tony, this was supposed to be a friendly episode for once. It was supposed to be a friendly fire back and forth, and then we smile and shake hands, swap jerseys at the end. But no, you got to come out here like Joe and throw one last jab with the one last moment that I gave you to throw a jab. If you guys are tuned in and you're new, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell next to it. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I say a lot on my personal channel, but we are on the road here on the Warzone Sports Network as well. Check out www.warzonesportsnetwork.com. Pretty easy to find. Merch, shows, blogs, vlogs, and everything in between. All things Warzone Sports Network. Tomorrow, right here on the Warzone, we're going to have Fantasy Football Boot Camp. Or are we? I'm not sure, actually. It's right here in the corner. We might have a Fantasy Football Boot Camp, but tonight for sure we're going live for the game, right?
I'm in. Let's do it.
We're going live for the game tonight. I appreciate everyone tuning in one more time. And with my appreciation, I'm going to lend you some advice. And that is that you never know when you're talking sports or in a sports debate when you're going to have to go to war.
Let's get ready to rumble. Step into the war zone.